What's up, guys? It's episode 338. Welcome back to the show. Hey, what's up? It's Jacqueline. Welcome back to the show. How are you? Hi. Hope you had a great week. Oh my God. I've got a dog fight happening behind me. Go on YouTube or Spotify video to watch right now. Yeah, Jimmy and Louie, as soon as I press record, they started playing. So it's kind of fun if you want to get entertained by my tip of the tongue on the top of the teeth. Today we're going to articulate our words. We're going to pause before we speak. We're going to, it's like, sorry. Hi. Okay. Welcome back to the show. I'm going to set the scene. We're going to go through some quick life updates, things going on in my world. I'm going to go through some news I've been following, that you've probably been following. I'm going to talk about that. I'm going to go down memory lane today with you. We're going to talk about ChatGPT, an incredible show I watched, and we're going to go through my TikTok saved folder. So we have a lot to get through. The reason I paused and told myself to articulate my words and shit is because I was watching Corey and I, we never sit and watch podcasts together, but the other night I put on a Lex Fridman podcast and he was interviewing Destiny, and it was like watching professional conversation athletes. Like, they're just so good at talking, and I got a little inspired. I wanted to keep Lex Fridman in mind today while I did my show. I mean yeah, it is what it is. I'm trying my best. Okay, so speaking of the dogs fighting behind me, they're playing. They're not fighting. But speaking of them playing and speaking of dogs, I have to tell you about my morning. And I find myself bringing this up a little bit too often, and I think it's disgusting and I think it's gross, but it's real. It's my life. It's what happened. And let's get into it. By the way, the beverages today are black coffee. I'm sipping a Bolivian dark roast coffee from Trader Joe's. Put it in the French press. We have a green protein smoothie that I already finished. This is my post-workout smoothie, and my Stanley cup with lemon and mint in it today. I talked about flavored water on last week's episode, or what was it? Putting flavored coffee syrup in your water. There's like a trend on TikTok. And so anyways, a piece of me thinks I'm going to attempt that and try it and just see what the hype's about. So I shit on it, but I'm probably going to try it. But right now we're doing lemon and mint. Okay. Those are the beverages. Let me tell you what I did this morning. So I worked out. I did some Stairmaster intervals and some core work. Sat in the sauna, came home. Corey's playing 36 holes right now at Torrey Pines, so he didn't work out with me. So I had a lot of extra time to sauna, stretch. I did a long workout, and I need to address the camera. I'm still bad at that. Whatever. Who cares? Who gives a fuck if you're bragging, Jacqueline? No one cares. It doesn't matter. But I consistently get comments when I work out from people holy shit, you made that look so easy when you're running intervals on the Stairmaster. You're so fit. What do you do? All that. I'm I don't know. It made me feel really good because I've been working on my cardio. As you know, I've talked about this on the podcast for 2 months. And when I was doing Stairmaster intervals today, I felt like I could go forever. I feel like I'm turning into a superhero. What is Corey's calling me lately? He's like, you're Wonder Woman. And I don't know, I've been working out, lifting weights, doing all this shit for like a year straight. And I think I'm starting to really notice some changes happening and like physique recomposition. I don't know how it works. I just know that I work out really hard. And I told Corey this, I'm like, I have an hour every day. My mindset when I walk into the gym is like, how hard can I go? How hard could this hurt? Because it's just an hour of my day and I feel amazing after. So, yeah. What was I going to say? Oh, I came home. So I worked out, came home, made my smoothie, made some coffee, showered. Now, while I was in the shower, we're going to get to the disgusting part here. While I was in the shower, I decided to turn on my little robot vacuum, my little Roomba thing, start cleaning the floor. And I pressed the button. I stripped down, I got in the shower, washed my hair, did the whole thing. And about, halfway through my shower, I started smelling some fumes of dog shit permeating into the bathroom, and my heart sank. Okay, my heart fucking sank. I've got an English bulldog here. It's Corey's, it's his dog, but we're co-parenting. What am I saying? And yes, he's a year old. Is he perfectly potty trained? I wish I could say yes, but that's not the case. He's getting a lot better, but this has been a bad week. And during my shower, Louis took a shit on the rug. Okay. Took a shit on the rug. And this has happened twice this week. So I'm like fucking pissed. And I'm trying to finish my shower. I'm smelling this. This is the part that's disgusting. Okay. I put on my towel. I dry off, put on my towel. I walk out of the bathroom into the living room. And there's my Roomba robot vacuum plowing through this pile of shit. So gross. Leaving a trail behind it as it was spinning around and like cleaning the floor. And so not only did I have to, it's drying behind me right now. I like had to disinfect it. I don't know if you can see on the video. I don't think, no, you can't. I had to clean the bottom of my Roomba and like disinfect it and clean the rug and clean the shit trail. It was like a snail trail of shit. And no, so yeah, and then I'm annoyed because it's like I got a podcast, got to do my makeup, got to get ready, got to, and this is happening. So welcome to a day in my life of having dogs that live in your apartment. Like, holy shit, literally. Unfortunately, this is like, I can't lie to you guys. I just tell you everything. That's not the first time this happened. Okay. I slipped up and turned on the vacuum when he took a shit one time before. And yeah, so that happened. What other life updates? So this weekend I'm going to LA. I haven't been up there in like 2 years, which is crazy. Earlier this week, I popped my hamstring, or I popped a muscle in my leg, and I've been a little bit, I can't run right now. That's why I had to do Stairmaster. But let me play you the sound. Now, I grew up running track. I would witness people pull something or pop something. And I don't know why I always associate like popping something with running track, or like, because what other sports? I guess maybe gymnastics. But anyways, I was doing like deep stretching and yoga, working the kinks out one afternoon. I think this was like on Monday. And listen to this and play full volume. And I was stretching, right? And of course I was filming myself because like I'm just constantly filming anything I do. Like any physical activity I do, for some reason, I'm just like, I don't know if that's my brand now, like your fitness workout golfer girl, but like I always record myself doing shit. So, excuse me. It's the protein powder in that smoothie to make me burp. So the sound you hear is the sound of something in the back of my leg where my butt and my leg connect, popping. Ready? And I was the commentary after I did it, like I was filming, right? So I was just like, I was going to talk out loud and say this, whether I was recording or not. Like here's the Here's the video. Wait. Really listen for that pop noise. Ready? I can't even watch it. Oops. That wasn't it. That was a different video. Here.
Ow, I just popped my fucking hip out. Ow. Oh my god. Something just really popped.
Something just really popped. Yeah, so I've been laying low on this leg for the last week, and I've never done that before. It was so weird. It was like and I literally, so I had this bench thing, and I was doing like a standing split. I can't even, I'm like working on my splits. I can do them if I like push myself like and go through a little pain. But anyways, I was doing a standing split, and I literally just lifted my leg and it popped. Like it wasn't anything, I wasn't like straining it. I was standing on my left leg and I kicked my right leg back, and then boom, pop. So, Corey was really liking that when he got home, and I was I wasn't in excruciating pain, but he liked that I had a little injury, because he's the one that's always hurt because of his back when he blew his back out like 6 months ago. I've told that story. I think he's told that story when I interviewed him, but now it's my turn to be hurt. So yeah, that happened. Coachella's this weekend, but that's a weird segue. Jacqueline. Okay. In other news, Coachella is happening this weekend. Woo, Coachella. Okay, I've never been, but I was in Palm Springs last weekend, staying at Corey's friend's house. And anyways, it was a grand old time. I told you on the last episode that I was going there, so let me recap it real quick. Basically, Corey and I drive to Palm Springs with the dogs in the back, and we show up. They go golfing. I'm with the dogs all day long at this pool, laying out. I immediately started drinking Coors Light at like 10 a.m. And I was tanning. I was swimming with the dogs. There's another golden retriever there, and it was the best time. And the one thing I want to say is that I have never been so hungover in my life. Like, it's on the drive back. What was it? Sunday we drove back. I was nauseous, feeling like I was going to puke all day. Like it didn't go away. Like I'm usually okay. If I go out for drinks and wake up the next day, the hangover's there, but it kind of goes away after a few hours, especially if I'm active, and do something and drink a lot of fluids, obviously. This hangover wouldn't go away. It was as if I went to Coachella. Like that's how I felt. Like I've never been, but I can only imagine like if I was partying all weekend for multiple days, staying up super late, like how I'd feel. That's how I felt after one night of drinking on Saturday night. We went out, we hung out at the pool all day. They went golfing. That night we got dinner, and I literally I think I had like 6 palomas. I don't even know what a paloma is, but I ordered. It was like, you want another one? I was like, sure, let's do it. Like, you want another one? Sure. Okay, fine. It just kept coming. So the next day I woke up and I was day drinking all day. Obviously, that's why I was so hungover. But yeah, the next day I woke up feeling like I felt so trashed, and my head was throbbing. And then we drove home, and I had to we took a different route, and there was a bunch of windy roads and hills, and it sucked. So, yeah, last weekend was fun. I've never been to Palm Springs before, and it was super relaxing. It was exactly what I expected and exactly what I wanted. I just wanted to lay by the pool, drink cocktails, play with the dogs, swim, go out for a nice dinner, and come home. So, yeah. Let's see. Now we can go into... That's kind of it for life updates. News. You guys want to go through some news? So... Actually, this goes with my life update. 2 nights ago, Corey and I binge watched American Manhunt, which is a documentary about the Boston Marathon bombing. And holy fucking shit. It was so well done. It's one of those where you're like, we couldn't stop watching it. We were so hooked. But just the way they edited it was so... it was just so clean and so well done. There's so much the raw footage they had and the reenactments they did with the two bombers, the two brothers that did it with this, like, they had this cool, like, distorted thing on their face and they'd like look at the camera all creepy. I just loved it. I loved the way they sat people down and interviewed them, and they did this thing. Yeah, it was so cool. It was like, you're gonna have someone talk in front of the camera and you know, tell their story about the Boston Marathon bombing. And what they did before they started talking was they'd be in the room and they just like look off to the right or the left and just like stare at you. It was so creepy, but so like made me feel something. And I don't know, I pay attention. The thing is I grew up with I sat on my dad's lap. Well, he edited. He was an editor, producer, writer. Like, he was in TV his whole life, and so I was trained at a young age to like notice the creative elements in TV and like, yeah, like shows I'm watching. And he'd like pause movies and point out like the cuts they did or like the different edits. I don't know. So yeah, it was great. Just like so well done. But the thing I didn't realize about the Boston Marathon bombing, which happened in 2013, so it's been 10 years since that day, actually like to the day. I think that's why they released it. It was like the 10-year anniversary. When I was in 2013, I'm a freshman in college, living with my parents in my hometown, going to community college, working in retail, selling purses at Coach at the outlet mall. I don't know if you knew that. I've talked about that before, but like, that's what I was doing. You know, one day in April, Boston Marathon bombing happens and it's all over the news. My recollection of it is very like, okay, there was a bombing and I knew after a while that they had found the guys, but I wasn't following all the little details. I didn't know the details of what happened until I watched this documentary. And essentially, I don't know if you're familiar, or I don't know if you watched this documentary. These two kids became radicalized. They were Muslims. The one brother went over to, is it Turkestan? How do you say that? Turkestan? Shit, it's one of the stands, but I can't. Uzbekistan. That's not it. Uzbekistan. Is it why is this telling me Uzbekistan is a strain of marijuana from South Wait. What's the country? Boston. Jamie, look this up. Country of origin. Yeah. Their family immigrated over here. Kyrgyzstan. They've really, their names are very difficult for me to pronounce, but the two brothers were from Kyrgyzstan. Essentially, the one brother wasn't really happy with how his life was going in the States and then started blaming, blaming things on American culture and how they are prejudiced against Muslims because of 9/11. And then he became radicalized. And what is it? Jihad? I don't fucking know the terminology. He became, I don't know. He like went over to another country and then came back completely different. And then basically he like groomed his younger brother into believing what he believed. And they did the Boston Marathon bombing is kind of the gist of it. Like two quote unquote normal kids who came from Kyrgyzstan with their family for a better, to have a better life in the United States. And it wasn't working out. They were both like, the younger brother was a wrestler. The older brother was a boxer who could have gone. That's what it was. The older brother that went over, and what is it called when you join? When you become a radical, I'm like really tripping on what it's called. Jihadi, when you become there's like a group, you know what I'm talking about? They're like on Twitter and shit. They're like recruiting people through this magazine called like Inspire. Like if you look that up, don't look it up. It's like, they'll track you, I guess. But like, yeah, anyways, he was going to go to the Olympics as a boxer, but he couldn't go and represent the United States. Like he was that good, but he couldn't go because he wasn't born here. And then that really like set him off and then pissed him off. And then, yeah, essentially, I keep saying essentially. Is that the word of the podcast? Essentially. What is an extremist? Called Islamic radical Islam is referred to extremist beliefs of which behaviors what is jihad? This guy they were interviewing was explaining jihad, and it's not what I thought. A struggle. Jihad means it's a noun in Islam, and it's a struggle or fight against the enemies of Islam. He declared a jihad against the infidels. Spiritual struggle within oneself against sin. What is a jihadi? Is that what he was, a jihadi? Is that like the term? What? I swear I'm like missing it. It's like on the tip of my tongue. Anyways, the older brother convinced the younger brother they're going to make these pressure cooker bombs and drop them in the streets at the finish line of the Boston bombing. And they did it. They were all over surveillance. They were, caught by the FBI because what was the giveaway? I forget. There was backpacks. Yeah, when they were cleaning up the crime scene. Again, you might already know all these details. I'm just fascinated by this because I didn't know. I just love following these American crime stories, terrorist attack stories. And like, I'm just so enthralled and so like enamored by how it's just so fucking cool how, the FBI and the police and, our intelligence agencies can like figure shit out and catch criminals and terrorists. It's just so like the way they go about it is so cool. But when they were cleaning up the crime scene, the bomb squad, they found these backpacks that were clearly the backpacks the bombs were in. And so they put together, okay, they were in backpacks. So on video, they have this kid, the younger brother in a white hat, dropping off right before the second bomb went off in front of this Forum restaurant thing. I don't remember. They have him on video walking over to the gate at the Boston Marathon at the finish line, dropping his backpack. And then everyone's noticing that this other bomb went off. And then, oh my God, Corey's mom just texted me. This does not go together. She literally just texted me, do you like peanut butter and jelly sandwiches? Sorry, this is not connecting. The story and what I just got text. Sorry. That's so cute. I love her. He dropped the backpack off. Everyone's looking at the first bomb that went off, and then he just beelines it out, and then the second bomb went off. So that's how they put it together. There was him, and then they followed the surveillance footage around the city backwards and noticed that he was with someone, his older brother. And long story short, okay, this happens. They get away, and the police are looking for them. The FBI is involved in everything. And then they're collecting all this evidence from the public, everyone who took pictures that day, videos, you're getting all of that. And the craziest part was they jacked a car. There was a carjacking of a Mercedes. This exchange student, I think he was an exchange student studying at Cambridge or something from China, and he was driving his Mercedes, and this car pulls up behind him. He like pulled over to check his text because he was driving, the Asian kid, and then this car pulls up behind him, and then the younger brother or the older brother gets out, points a gun at him, and says drive, basically, like, or I'll kill you. And they ended up getting gas, and this was like the fucking, like, if this didn't happen, who knows? Because they were on their way to New York City. So the theory is they were going to go do more bombings in New York. But they're at this gas station, and, their brother's gassing up the car, and then there's the other brother. He was following in the other car. Anyways, he beelines it, gets the fuck out of there, escapes, makes a life or death decision. Like, fuck it. Like, I'm going to do it. So he escaped, ran into a gas station, like across the street, because there's always like 2 gas stations on an intersection, and then was like, hey, these guys are trying to kill me. These are the Boston Marathon, because they told him in the car when they kidnapped him and jacked his car that we did the Boston Marathon bombing. And before that, they shot a police, they shot a cop at Cambridge in cold blood. I think they were trying to get a second gun. They're just like fucking around. It's just terrible. I hate the quote of that documentary, though. This is now my entire podcast. I could literally talk about this the entire episode. The quote of that documentary was like, people that want to hurt people are going to find a way to do it no matter what. Like they're going to figure it out. It's going to happen. And that's just a sad reality of this, world we live in. Like, anyway, so the Asian kid, I wish I had his name. Anyways, I keep getting, now she wants to know if I want turkey sandwiches. Jesus Christ. What are we, is she, this might be for our drive to LA tomorrow. I don't know. She might send us off with little like snack packs, little lunch bags. The part that was key was how the Asian guy escaped, went into the nearby gas station and told the guy, call 911, these are the Boston bombers, they're trying to kill me. And then he remembered, because he had this new Mercedes, that he remembered his GPS tracking number, and that allowed the police to track the car and figure out where they were going. So they ended up driving into, the 2 brothers, Boston bombers, drove into Watertown next to Cambridge, and that became a shootout. The older brother was ultimately killed because his younger brother, he got shot at. This cop like came around the back of the house and like shot him 9 times, and then he didn't die. He was like fucking the Terminator. What's that? There's like a superhero that you shoot him and like nothing happens. Whatever. He doesn't die, but they end up going out in the street. They're like throwing pipe bombs and shit. It's nuts. It's a full-on shootout in Watertown with the Watertown local police. And the older brother and the younger brother gets in the car. Sorry. And just go watch the documentary. Why am I recapping this entire thing on my episode today? I don't know. It was so good. Just so well done. But also pissed me off. The ending pissed me off because I'm like, fucking law enforcement slipping up. They slip up so often with these kind of things. But, the younger brother gets in the car during the shootout in Watertown and runs his brother over and kills him. He was gutted from his like armpit to his waist, and he died in the hospital. So older brother, the older Boston bomber brother, dead in the hospital. Younger brother is driving away, stops at an intersection, literally gets on foot, runs a block away. And what we find out at the end, after they did an entire grid search on foot at like every single house in the entire like city, after they evacuated all of, what was it, Boston, not fucking Philly. Well, I was going to say Philly, Boston. After they searched like everything, this motherfucker gets in his car, flees that shootout, parks it, jumps out of the car, and hides in a boat a block away. Okay. That's where they ended up finding him after like 101 hours it took to track this kid down. They were counting the hours throughout the documentary. And, he was shot, bleeding, like he's all fucked up. Eventually he like surrenders or gets out. I forget how that happened. They had like a helicopter flying overhead, like getting the infrared on him to make sure to see if he was moving or if he died. But the thing that pissed me off, right, is that's where he was found. And like it was a block away from the car he abandoned when he fled the shootout. And I'm like, they ended up searching that entire area, and Cambridge, they like went all the surrounding little towns, I guess. And like, yeah, I mean, there was a, what do you call it? A lockdown. Like you can't leave your house. Everyone's on like house arrest. It's not that. It's like, there's a term. Obama came, was like, okay, people, you can't keep people in their house for this long. We got to let them, at some point you got to like call it off. Anyways, I'm like, if I was searching, I wonder if someone saw that boat and looked at it and was like, he's probably not in there. It's a block away from where he left his car. Because maybe people are thinking, oh, it's that close. Like, he probably fled further. He probably got further away on foot. I don't know. I just thought the ending sucked, where I was just like, God damn it. He was a block away from the car. And it took him like a few days to fucking find him. Just laying in a boat. And he was writing all this like religious or like radical shit on the boat. Like, I don't know. The question obviously is why. Like, why did they do this? Why? I don't know if he's been like, he's in, he got the death penalty. He's in maximum security prison. It's like, what is it called? Like Supermax? I don't fucking know. It's where you're like literally in a cell for 23 hours and you get to come out for like 1 hour a day, which is like torture. And so awful. Like, that really disturbs me. And then you're on death row and then you're going to just like get injected and die. Like, or I don't know how it works in whatever state that is, Massachusetts. But, yeah, I wonder if he's been like interviewed or like, do they know the reason behind this? Like, yeah, there's so many great like people interviewed in that show, and friends of his. He like befriended this Muslim kid in high school, the younger brother, and then it was just such a mind fuck when he's like, he would have never thought it would be him, you know? But yeah, they turned into terrorists. It wasn't something they weren't like born, I don't know. And the parents, they interviewed the parents back in Kyrgyzstan. I think they were back in Kyrgyzstan. The parents were like, oh, there's no way these are my sons, you know? So a lot obviously went wrong. They got brainwashed into fucking doing that. And, yeah, it was a great documentary. 3 people lost their lives in the Boston Marathon bombing, which, for some reason I thought it was like 12. It's only 3, which is still way too many people. Any time someone dies, it's not, I mean, come on. They're just enjoying, you know, their day at this beautiful marathon that's like legendary in Boston, and, you know, boom. And the footage of these people getting blown up. Oh my God. One woman, I think her name was Karen, got her leg amputated. Like, just, it's awful. So, oh, that's so random. I know I keep segueing into shit that's like super light and has nothing to do with this fucking terrorist attack bombing in Boston. But I just got a text about filling out a survey about working at a Italian restaurant that I used to work at like 3 years ago. It's kind of sketch. I don't know what that is, but so let me powder my face. Holy shit, I feel like I'm sweaty. And if you're enjoying this, if you are enjoying the show right now, head over to the Apple Podcast app or Spotify and subscribe to the podcast, or wherever you're listening. I feel like I'd say 99% of people are on Apple or Spotify when they're listening, but I'm on Stitcher, Breaker, Google Podcasts, where else? Like literally anywhere you listen to podcasts or can listen, I'm there. So yeah, subscribe to the show and review it. Please hit the 5-star review button while you're there. Share the show. Tell a friend. Just like follow me on Instagram. Follow me on TikTok at Jacqueline Monroe. And if you want to support the show, for $5 a month, it's patreon.com/TJMS. Patreon.com/TJMS. It's my little tip jar. Okay. If you're a loyal listener, if you've been following my life for the last 338 episodes, which is fucking crazy. And you want to, support my future career of this podcast. It's not even a future career. It is my career. Like this, I am a podcast host, you know, it's so crazy how like my mind still plays little dumb tricks on me. Like, you're not there yet. It's like, bitch, you're 338 podcasts deep. Okay. That's fucking incredible. And you've done it by yourself. You fully produce this all by yourself. yeah, so pat yourself on the back today. Be proud of yourself or something. It could be something small. Like maybe you drank water. Maybe maybe you drank a gallon of water every day this week. Maybe you took a walk once a day every day this week. Now she wants to know if I want tuna sandwiches. I really got to respond to this. This is like a pressing fucking text or like she is making us sandwiches for the drive to LA tomorrow. This is so sweet. I like all sandwiches, especially tuna. Corey likes her tuna too, so looks like we're having tuna sandwiches in the car on the way to LA tomorrow. So moving on, Drake Bell is reported missing, and he's in danger or something. Drake Bell missing. I don't know what this is. He's no longer 13 hours. He's no longer considered. CNN.com. Hold on. I don't know if you heard about this. I was like, this is so random. Drake Bell from Drake and Josh, if you watched Nickelodeon growing up. By the way, Josh Peck's podcast, or I'm not sure if is it his podcast? It's fucking great. He had Hillary Duff on it, and that was my favorite episode ever. I'm like, Hillary Duff is I don't want to call someone perfect, but like literally she's a perfect person. Okay. She's beautiful. She's so sweet. So funny. She's actually really funny, which is because I watched her on Lizzie McGuire and back in like 4th grade. She's really blossomed into this amazing human being. I think she's on the show How I Met Your Father. I think that's like the show she's working on right now. But CNN, the Daytona Beach Police Department has updated a post seeking information to help them locate actor Drake Bell with the news that the actor has been located and is safe. Okay, so this segment is over. At this time, we can confirm law enforcement officials are in contact with Mr. Bell, and he is safe. His legal name is Jared Drake Bell. On Thursday evening, a post to Bell's verified Twitter account seemed to reference the episode. Wait, what is this? You leave your phone in the car and don't answer for the night, and the tweet reads. Huh. Wait, what was it? You leave your phone in the car. I don't get it. Let me read the tweet. Oh, he didn't answer his phone for the night left in the car. Duh, it's coming from Drake Bell. Yeah, so he's fine. You know who's not fine? And this is tragic and horrible, is he's dead, Cash App founder Bob Lee. Yeah, Corey and I were at sushi last night, and he pointed out the TV behind us, and it was like Cash App founder stabbing, and I'm like, what the fuck? So they made an arrest. The suspect's name is Nima Momeni. He's also a tech entrepreneur in the Bay Area, and apparently they knew each other. Wait, let me read it. I like reading articles. Ever since I went to Passover and I got that compliment that I was good at reading out loud, or like I should have a podcast because I was reading the Hebrew book. I don't know the name of it. I was just like so like dialed when I was reading it while I was drunk on 4 glasses of wine. It's like it keeps my mind sharp when I read out loud. I don't know. Like it's going to help me be more articulate and more well-spoken like Lex Fridman. So when I talk on here, you guys can follow what I'm fucking saying. Do you ever like see people that are so well-spoken on their podcast and just go like, maybe, okay, that's the problem. That's actually the problem. I I'm like being down on myself about how I talk on here because I'm like all in my head about it. But I'm sure if you're listening, like this is tracking, you're having fun, you're having a good time. You 5-star reviewed my episode because you're like, oh my God, Jacqueline is so entertaining and like is making me just like feel so much better and so much happier today. And I'm like having a hangout session with her and it's just such a great time. Like it's fucking all in my head. Like everything, it's all in my head. But that's kind of always the goal. Being more articulate, more well-spoken. Like if this is what I do, I should prioritize that and think about it. And I'm just always trying to improve, always trying to get better. We're fine tune, improve. Okay. In a press conference on Thursday afternoon, San Francisco District Attorney Brooke Jenkins confirmed that an arrest had been made in the April 4th fatal stabbing of Cash App founder Bob Lee. Officials named Nima Momeni, a tech entrepreneur in the Bay Area, as a suspect. Authorities also said that Momeni knew the victim, though they would not comment on the motive. They also indicated that the investigation was ongoing. Momeni will be arraigned on Friday, and prosecutors said that they would be filing a motion to detain him without bail. Police made the arrest earlier on Thursday in Emeryville, California, a suburb 15 minutes outside of San Francisco. Jail records say that the 38-year-old Momeni was booked on suspicion of murder at 9:19 a.m. In the press conference, Jenkins criticized early comments from pundits and celebrities that used the murder to paint San Francisco as a crime-ridden and violent city. What's the story? So Bob Lee had been working as chief product officer for the cryptocurrency company MobileCoin. He previously served as chief tech officer of Square, now known as Block, a financial technology company co-founded by former Twitter chief Jack Dorsey. Lee went to create Cash App, a money transfer service. He's also an investor in SpaceX. Okay, blah, blah, blah. So what exactly happened? So Cash App stabbing. Did you guys hear about this? Cash App CEO stabbing. What's like... Wait. This guy's like not what you think. The suspect. Or is that Bob Lee? I'm just trying to get like... Okay, wait. Okay, I'm just trying to... Hold on. Citing police sources, Mission Local reported Mr. Lee and the suspect were in a vehicle together and had an altercation before Mr. Lee was stabbed. Police officers first responded to reports of the stabbing at about 2:35 local time on April 4th. The San Francisco Standard viewed CCTV footage that shows Mr. Lee walking down a deserted alleyway, seemingly looking for help. He is seen stumbling towards a parked car and lifting up his shirt to reveal his wound, but the vehicle drives off before the tech entrepreneur falls to the ground. Police found Mr. Lee unconscious in Rincon Hill neighborhood with only two stab wounds to his chest. Oh fuck! And started to administer aid before rushing him to the hospital. Where he died. He died in the hospital. Wow, that's terrible. There were 56 murders last year and 56 the year before in San Francisco. So they were in a car or whatever. He got stabbed twice in the chest. But is this the guy? Is Nima Momeni this guy? I'm sorry. I'm looking at a picture of someone who's like clean cut, kind of handsome, kind of. I mean, doesn't mean just because you murder someone doesn't mean you're ugly. But like, it's just someone you wouldn't. He doesn't have a murderer vibe, you know. Oh wait, no. Is this? Okay, wait. Not to like profile and to like. Wait. Let me just look up Nima Momeni and then Bob Lee. Is he okay? I'm sorry. I'm like mixing these two people up. I'm mixing up. So I'm looking at two faces. I'm looking at like, I don't know who killed who, if that makes sense. I need to figure this out. I think this was him, and I think I've seen him on like, wait, no. Have I? Oh my God. I used to do outreach in my last job. Bob, does he have Instagram? He probably doesn't. Anyways, okay, this is terrible. I think he was young too. He's born 1979, St. Louis. Picture. Yeah, I'm like going through this. Hi, okay, stay with me. Who is Nima Mamini? Okay, that's what I thought. Nima Mameni is a self-described tech consultant and entrepreneur whose LinkedIn profile lists him as the owner of an outsourcing IT firm based in the Bay Area. Okay. Moving on. This is terrible. Fucking tragic. Fucking painful way to die. I mean, like, okay, this is what I like overthink, or not overthink. I could just move on from this, but like getting stabbed in the chest twice, bleeding out in the street. Eventually you become unconscious. You die in the hospital. I guess you're like, yeah, you're completely alone bleeding out. What the fuck is that pain? I mean, this influencer I follow, speaking of pain, I liked this way she put it. She posted like 7 selfies of herself crying. I think her name's Nima. Yeah, her name's Nima. She says, how much pain can a human endure? I discovered there's no limit. There's no limit to the amount of pain a human can endure, which means that's just so dark. Yeah, literally 7 selfies of herself crying. I don't know what happened. She didn't describe why she was crying or disclose it. She just posted. She's going through something. So, yeah, I don't know. Like, I feel like it's stupid when people post themselves crying on social media, but like, I don't know. Maybe, you know what it is for me? It's like taking a selfie of yourself crying where you look, you're full glam. She's stunning. And then it's like, I don't know. It's just, there's something about that. Like, it messes with my brain. I'm like, this should not be happening. I shouldn't be looking at a selfie of someone. I guess it's like everyone's trying to be like relatable, normal. Like, look at me. I have hard days too. I might be this glamorous. I think she's a fashion photographer. She has this glamorous life, but like, you know, I'm crying in my bedroom every day. So I'm normal too, or whatever. I don't know. People have good intentions. I feel like that's the thing. They're not like posting these selfies to like crying selfies. I don't know what I'm fucking saying. So I downloaded a ChatGPT app and I played around with it. It's called Ask AI. And I'm floored. Oh my God. Okay. I've heard about ChatGPT. Heard about AI and all this new technology that's rolled out and these, and how we can, you know, how we can access it, right? But I haven't actually played with it. I haven't actually inputted a little, you know, description of something I want it to write out. And as a content creator, nothing makes me happier than this ChatGPT app, because like on a Tuesday, if I'm like, what should I post on my Instagram story? I can literally, what should I do? Yeah. Should I like, It gives you content ideas, or just like it helps you brainstorm. That's the thing, because I don't know, am I recording? Yeah. As I've gotten older, I'd say over the last like 2 to 3 years, maybe it's the pandemic, maybe it's, I don't know, I feel like my creative juices don't flow like they used to, or I'm a little more reserved. Like, I'm all out in the open here. I'm telling you about my life nonstop on my podcast. But when it comes to like making content for like TikTok or Instagram stories, I'm like closed off more, or like I'm not as fuck it like I am here. Which is, in my brain, I'm like, well, maybe that's a good thing, because that'll drive people to my podcast, because if I'm telling them everything on my story, it's, I don't know. I feel like there's kind of you have to have a good balance of the two. Like, if I overshared on my story all day long, and I'm oversharing on my podcast all day long, it's like too much. And it's like, this is my priority, my show, not my Instagram story. So, anyways, yeah, if you're a content creator, ChatGPT's a shit. Just for like, yeah, brainstorming content ideas. I think, oh my God, we're like getting through all this. Save TikToks now. Do you want to do that? I'm fucking sweating. Mind focus. Yeah. Okay, cool. Oh, you know how I mentioned how Corey and I were watching Lex Fridman and Destiny, that interview, the other night? Well, before that, I put on the H3 podcast, and he's like, you're fucking kidding me. You listen to this bullshit? He's like, you listen to this? This is just nonsense. This is just like, you're not learning anything, Jacqueline. Like, this is just junk food for your brain. Like, this is trash. Like, he's shitting on the H3 podcast. And when I told him, and so then I played Lex Fridman. So I was like, okay, I also listen to this to give him an idea of like, I'm not just frying my brain with like random funny bullshit that H3 podcast talks about. Okay. I don't know why I always bring it up. It's because I'm like I'm like a fan. I'm an avid listener. I listen. I don't know. What does that say about me? Because if you go play the H3 podcast right now, like, I feel like it's either you're either into the lore, you're into the sound effects they play, you're into the drama, you're into the, you know, Ethan's life and the crew, like you're just like, this is immature and stupid, which is Corey's take on it, which I get. I get it. But what I told him is, I'm 28. I was a podcast junkie. So I started listening to podcasts in 7th grade when they were on iTunes. And they were like, I watched this video podcast called Bratz and Beretta. It was a comedy, like, sketch podcast. They called it a podcast, but it's like literally like sketch comedy you could find on YouTube or like Instagram Reels. And then podcasts were kind of like meh in high school. And then I started listening to Tim Ferriss, Rogan, Andy Frisella, Lewis Howes, who are like, Tom Billy, I can't say the last name. Brene, like all these like thought leader podcasters. I was listening to all these interviews with all these, the Tony Robbins of the world. And I was listening to Gary Vaynerchuk. What was his podcast called back then? Literally, I'm like 18, fresh into college, graduated high school, full-time podcast junkie, getting fed self-improvement tips, business tips, entrepreneurship tips, content creator tips, like from Gary Vee, mindset tips, like, literally, like, I was a junkie. I was like, oh my God, this is like better than reading a self-help book, because it's like a podcast, right? It's audio. And, you know, I go on a walk, I go work out, I listen to this shit. So I've been consuming that. I told Corey this, like while we're sitting, I'm like, look, I've been consuming this shit for like a decade. Okay. This isn't new information. This isn't like the nerdy, like health and wellness advice everyone's like doing right now. It's like, this is like, it's a broken record to me at this point. It's like I've heard it all. I've seen it all. I've read like everything. I know it. Not saying I know everything, but like a lot of these fads that are being right now with like cold plunge and like fucking sauna and just so funny how people talk about it. To me, it's funny because I'm like, they're so like into it and shit. And I'm like, this is just obvious information to me. Like, you know, it's just so like, it's not in 2023, like talking about the benefits of cold plunging or like intermittent fasting or eating a clean diet or like getting sunlight on those things, like getting sunlight on your skin, grounding, like stepping on the earth, you know, entrepreneurship shit, like whatever. It's just kind of like I'm exhausted of it. So sometimes it's nice when I just like, now I'm just like, I just want to be entertained and laugh and fuck around and have fun, and listen to comedy podcasts. So I don't know if that's a bad mindset to have, but like, I don't know. I just get like burnt out of it. I'm like, you know what I mean? So, I like listening to great minds speak on like a Lex Fridman podcast or like a Rogan interview with someone cool, or like I'll listen to Huberman here and there. But see, sometimes like, oh, you know who I also grew up with? You know who also raised me is Ben Greenfield. That motherfucker's like the god of biohacking. And what's his book called? It's like, it's like such a big, it's like a Bible. It's like the biohacking Bible. Yeah. So I know everyone's still, you know, people are growing up, people are learning, they're, you know, they're stumbling upon podcasts. This kind of information is necessary. It's good for society. Like it needs to be regurgitated and spit out over and over again. It's because you know, there's new listeners all the time. There's people that are just coming across it now. So anyways, and it's funny because, okay, speaking of Huberman, literally I'll be in the sauna at my gym and someone will bring up the benefits of the sauna because they listen to a Huberman podcast. And I'm like, I've probably heard it from 5 different fucking people. And I'm like, I act stupid. Because they're telling me, because they're excited they learned something, right? They're excited they learned something about health and wellness and the benefits of sauna and cold plunge. And they're like, either, you know, and I just want to give them that opportunity to be like, to tell me and for me to like, for them to feel like they're, you know, it makes you feel good when you tell people like advice on health and shit. So, but yeah, I just go, oh my God, I know they're going to say I've heard this before. Okay. Yep. Huberman. Okay. Everyone's a Huberman fan in the sauna at my gym, which is great. He's a fucking, G when it comes to health shit. So they're like, do 15 minutes in the cold plunge or in the sauna, and then don't go into the cold plunge if you do this. And if you lift weights, don't do it after you lift weights. Do it before you work out. And if you do it before, I'm just like, okay. Do we want to go down memory lane real quick? Because I got a phone call from, let's do it. I got a phone call from Corey like at 4:30 p.m. yesterday. We're on the phone like 4 times a day. Except when he's golfing. Sometimes he'll FaceTime me when he's out there. But anyways, I get the 4th phone call of the day at 4:30, and I pick up the phone and he goes, hi honey. I'm like, hi. He's like, can you draw me a bath real quick? And I'm like sitting here at my desk. I literally have the piece of paper I pulled out. See this white piece of paper? I'm like, because I know he's redoing he has a house that needs a new kitchen. He's going to renovate or whatever. So I'm thinking, he needs like a design, or he needs like a concept, and he needs me to draw like, so I'm like, I was like, sure. Yeah. I'm like, just a second, let me get a pen. And he's going like, whoa, what? And I'm just like, yeah, let me get a pen. I'm like, what kind of bath? Like a clawfoot tub or like a, you know, like the one we have. And he's like, no, I mean, he's like, Louis keeps scooting on his butt. He's got something in his ass. I need to go give him a bath when I get home. Can you just like draw a bath? And I'm like, oh my fucking God. That's when I knew. It's like, I was like, that is the most bougie, high class shit I've ever heard in my life. Like, excuse me, darling, can you draw me a bath? Like, I would never in my life say that phrase. I've never heard a family member in my family say draw a bath. And so I was like, oh, you mean like go turn the bath on? You want to give Louis a bath? I was like, oh, he's like, you've never heard of that? You've never heard draw a bath? And I'm like, no. And I'm like, is that what your family said growing up? Like, if someone needed to take a bath, like go draw a bath? He's like, yeah. And I'm like, we just are cut from two different cloths. Or like, if you can't tell, I'm the white trash one in the relationship. I think in my family, it was like, hey, I'm going to go take a bath. Can you turn the bath on? I think that's what it would be. It would be like, hey, can you turn the bath on for me? So immediately I know, you got to put that little water stopper down. Put the water stopper down. Run the hot water. Put the bubble bath in it. You know, turn the bath on. It's not draw a bath. Darling, can you draw me a bath? So the reason why I was laughing after that was because I was listening to Your Mom's House with Tom Segura and Christina Pajitsky. Christina P. I think she calls their listeners mommies. So I'm a mommy. I'm an H3 podcast fan and a mommy. I'm a Your Mom's House mommy fan. That's the thing about podcasts. I'm a fucking podcaster. I'm a consumer of podcasts. You know who I heard say that, or I was like, fuck yeah. Rogan. He's a junkie too. He listens to podcasts because, should I name drop right now and call a bitch out? I don't want to name drop. I listen to this really famous podcast host, similar to my age and demographic or like vibe, say that she's worried about listening to other podcasts because she doesn't want it to influence her show and like change how she does her show. I'm like, if listening to other people is going to change how you are, like that, there's something that's like a weird approach to me. I'm like I'll stay true to who I am and say this and do the show how I'm going to do it, whether I listen to like a nerdy Lex Fridman podcast or like a funky little, like, I don't know what I'm saying. So yeah, I just like when people within the podcast space are like hyping other podcast hosts up and like talking about, I think it's cool. Like everyone's listening to each other's shit, you know, it's just great. So, lost my train of thought. This reminded me. So I was listening. Yeah. Now I know what I was going to say. I was listening to Your Mom's House and they were interviewing the hosts of Are You Garbage, which is a podcast. The premise is, so it's two hosts, Kevin Ryan and H. Foley. Does he have a first name? Which is like H. I looked up his Instagram. It's like H. Foley. But the premise is that they ask people really specific questions about their childhood and like how they grew up. And that like tells you, it really gives you an idea of like how they were raised and it just tells you everything you need to know about them. So when Corey said draw a bath, I was like, that's like, it makes sense because of how, I don't know, like, just like he's a little more, he grew up a little more, I don't know how you'd say, like, like high class, rich, what? I don't know, like, what's the term? Like, more bougie than I did. Yeah, I asked Corey, I was like, did you have a rug? Because another question they asked their guests on Are You Garbage is like, things like, did your family use A1 steak sauce when you cook steaks? And their theory on that is like, your steak, the steak you were buying was like trash if you had to mask it with A1 steak sauce. Like you weren't buying like high quality steaks. Or like, did he use a washcloth? They were saying something about how like, I don't know if it was Christina or whoever during that interview that like the entire family would share the same fucking washcloth in the shower. It's like the communal washcloth to wash yourself. What other questions? Carpet in the bathroom. So I asked Corey, I was like, did you ever grow up with carpet in your bathroom? I know I did. I think we ripped it out though. Like we moved into this house with a bunch of carpet and we ripped all the carpet out. So wait, was it in the bath? No, fuck. So the house my mom was in. So anyways, what am I saying? I used to have one in high school and then we ripped it out in that house. So anyways, check out the Are You Garbage podcast. Let me play like one of their reels. I think I saved it. They interviewed like, wait, did I save it? No, I just followed them and go over to my Are You Garbage? Trashy dinner. Things like trashy family. What's this?
Step pop comes in to the picture when I was like 11.
They get married.
Come on, dude. What's this?
No, this wasn't the one.
Where would you go growing up? Where would like your pop take you guys to like a family dinner? Would you eat a Fridays?
Hosses?
Hosses?
You guys know Hosses?
No. Is that a chain or a...
It's good, dude.
Jesus, dude.
Hosses? It's not great. There's goats out back. You get to pet. There's petting goats out back.
Does that have a Michelin star? What are we talking here?
It's so bad. When I was a kid, I thought it was the nicest shit.
Goats as a kid. What more do you need?
Goats rules, and then we would have, there's mints on the way out. We would all get handfuls and throw them at each other.
So who was that they were interviewing? Was it Shane Gillis? Yeah, they were interviewing Shane Gillis about the restaurant he went to growing up. I don't know, like I grew up in Mount Vernon, Washington, a little small town about an hour north of Seattle in the Skagit Valley. Shout out to my Mount Vernon listeners. I don't know how, I might have one. I don't know if people from my high school listen. I don't know who listens, but like every now and then I'll get a random DM from someone from the past, but like Corey grew up here in San Diego in like the nicest part of San Diego. So when I took him back to my hometown, it's beautiful. I love where I'm from. It's not like middle of nowhere small town. It's like a nice small town. It's beautiful farmland. We have the Tulip Festival every year. There's gorgeous views of Mount Baker. It's a big glacier in the backdrop. There's mountains. There's ocean. It's gorgeous. It's in a literal valley where like the ocean and the mountains meet, and then there's tons of farmland with like really amazing soil for growing crops. So literally like where I go back home to my mom's house, there's potato fields, leek fields, berry fields, corn fields, tulip field, like crops growing everywhere, dairy farms. And it's like kind of like there's upscale parts, but there's also like shitty parts. Anyways, but yeah, I grew up going to like the Royal Fork. Okay, I went to like, which is like my hometown's Golden Corral buffet. I was upper middle class, but like we didn't go until I moved to San Diego. I'm like around a lot of nice restaurants here, and they're just accessible. Like we didn't have access to like super bougie restaurants in my hometown. Like there was the Italian place we would go to was Paccioni's. That was nice. They're like those types of restaurants are all around here too, but I feel like we'd always go to like the, now I'm asking myself this question, like this isn't even, I'm trying to think about the restaurant I grew up going to. Fucking McDonald's, Dairy Queen, Burger. I was going in fast food restaurants growing up. But like going out and fine dining was not a thing when I was a kid. Like seeing like white linen on the table and having my parents pick out the bottle of wine and like getting the guy to come over and like see if it tastes good, and then they like say yes, and then he keeps pouring, you know, that's not how I grew up. We're like that now. That's now it's like that, but not when I was growing up. Granted, parents were working their ass off to put 3 kids through private Catholic school. Like I can only imagine. And sport, like we did everything, activities, like I think the classiest high class shit we did was like skiing. I guess it's like people think that's like a rich person thing to do, which like I wasn't going to, you know, tropical vacations every year and like, you know, flying to France to go to fucking, I don't know, like we took like one big ass Disney World trip for 2 weeks one time when I was in like 8th grade, you know, and like the other trips were camping trips, road trips, like sports trips. Did we ever like go abroad as a family? We went to Canada, which was like an hour drive to Vancouver. That's just kind of like, if you want to get the gist of how I grew up, like fucking amazing childhood though. Like I always talk about how I have the perfect life and everything about me is perfect. No, I think I had the perfect childhood because like literally I had open space, tons of farm animals, like endless shit to do. I was riding on tractors. I was feeding cows. I was throwing hay. Like I was to the animals like before school. Like we had like 20 bunnies at one point. Like it's just the best. Like being dirty and having like, you know, dirt on your feet and your hands all the time. It's just, there's something about that where a lot of kids now like don't even if they had that, I feel like they don't even know how to play outside and get rough because they're like on their phone or their iPad. So yeah, I look back at my childhood, like it was really great. So speaking of memory lane,
I had a knee replacement.
Okay, that's not what I want to play. I thought of a core elementary school memory that I need to reapply my lips. Hold on. This stuff I'm putting on my lips right now is from, it's called Mineral Fusion. I believe this is from the Mount Vernon, Washington co-op. So, and I think my mom gave me this. So yeah, shout out. That's my favorite place ever. The Mount Vernon Skagit Valley Co-op. It's great. I always get the deli sandwiches there and with the pickle and yeah. But yeah, I thought of a core elementary school memory about, okay, and it was, I don't know how this came up, about school supplies. So in my town growing up, I went to private Catholic school, but there's public elementary schools. And the way we got our school supplies or how we knew what to get, because first grade is different than second grade, it's different than third grade. You know, every teacher they have different requirements. Every grade has different requirements. Like in elementary school, we would go to the local middle school and we'd go into their gymnasium usually, or like their cafeteria, or just like an open area, and there'd be like fold up tables that had the school supplies list of every school in the area, and you go up to the table and you tell them, I went to Immaculate Conception. I'd say Immaculate, you know, I'd tell them what school I went to, and then I get and tell them my grade, and then I get my little piece of paper that had the list of school supplies. And then my mom would take us to like Walmart, Target, Kmart. I don't know where we usually got them at. Where'd we get our school supplies? Kmart? Wherever. We go to the store and shop for school supplies. The part that always like pissed me off, I don't think we ever did it either. It was like you had to get the additional things like the paper towels, the tissues, I think like saran wrap and shit, like things to help supply the class, like the little like washing your hand station needed the paper towels, and obviously they needed tissues for all the kids. And yeah, my mom's point, she's like, we're paying this school all this money, like why are we buying their supplies for like the, I don't know, I think I'm pretty sure, like I don't know, I don't feel like maybe we did buy that. Seems like there's always like a gripe about it though, like we're just like, this is some bullshit. I'm just buying my kids school supplies, like I'm not buying the fucking school goddamn tissues. Okay. And donating, my parents, this is the thing, I remember growing up, like they would donate to the school. I think like the school would ask for family donations on top of tuition. I don't even know how much it costs to go there. I just know that now being almost 30, thinking about having kids and raising kids and thinking about how much it would cost to put them into private school around here. Like, I don't know how they fucking did it. I'm just grateful I went to private school because I think that, well, who knows? I just feel like it was a great education and I learned a lot of like good, I don't know, maybe I was brainwashed. It's probably, I don't know. I just feel like I learned a lot of like good core values and yeah. I'm not really, I go to Catholic church here and there with my family if it's like Easter or Christmas and we're just like, fuck it, we're gonna go. But I'm not like a weekly goer. Yeah, it's weird how like I went my whole life and then now I'm just like, don't even think about it. I hated going to church growing up. It was such a drag. The only reason I went to church growing up was for the cookies after and the donuts and the fucking, at one of my churches we went to, they made like hot chocolate. I think we helped make it. And sometimes we get breakfast after. We go to like the local, it's called the Farmhouse or the Calico Cupboard. I'm shouting out restaurants in Mount Vernon, Washington, or like the Skagit Valley, by the way. Yeah, Calico Cupboard or the Farmhouse. We get like, yeah, we go out to breakfast after that. That's like why I was excited to go to church, just to wait out the hour. It's always an hour and it always drags on and on and on and on and on. Another core memory from elementary school I thought of was Heads Up 7-Up. I don't know why. I just remember like every now and then the teacher would like, when would we play that? It was like when, because it's such a random thing to like organize. Like all of a sudden, okay, we're going to play Heads Up 7-Up. Maybe it's like if we had an indoor recess. Because if it was, why did we have indoor recess? I think it was because of the rain. Because I grew up in Washington. Yeah, I think it was called indoor recess because the rain was too heavy. Or like if it was snowing or something. So the teachers would make us put our head down with our thumbs up on the table. And then they'd like come by and like put our thumb down. And I remember one of my teachers, was it Miss Kirkmeyer? I don't remember. She like put my thumb down. It was like, she always like, it was like hard. It wasn't just like a little boop. It was like, and I don't know what happens after that. Like your thumb goes down and then people have to like guess whose thumb got touched or something. I don't know. Last memory I'm going to share with you, something that's a little, I don't know. I randomly thought about it, about getting my period for the first time. It's short and sweet. Basically, I got my period in 8th grade. Hi boys, if you're listening, I'm talking about my period now, and this is for the girls. Keep scrolling. What's that thing on TikTok everyone does? Like, if you're a boy, keep scrolling. This is for the girls and the girls only. I got my period 7th grade summer going into 8th grade, because all of 8th grade I had my period regularly. I remember that because I had a pool party for the end of my 7th grade year with all my friends. That's the last time I had like a group of girlfriends, by the way. Like a we're all sisters vibes. Like there was literally like 7 of us and we raised hell for like all of 7th and 8th grade. We did the dumbest shit. I wish I could get into it. We had a burn book like Mean Girls. We had this obsession with our librarian, and we were awful. Like we made fun of people, so we were so mean in middle school. But anyways, I had this pool party. I think they were all synced up. They all had their period and I didn't. So like, of course, the next day I wake up from the pool party, they all leave, I get my period, and I'm like, okay, hi, it's here. And then going into school, 8th grade the next year, getting it for the first time, I think I was like marking the calendar. I don't remember how I knew when I was going to get it. I think that's what I did. Yeah. It's like counting like 28 days. It was pretty consistent. Yeah, the first time I had to go to school while I was on my period, I was like, okay, so when I raised my hand in class, because I feel like I need to go change my pad, because I hadn't used tampons yet. I was still like a newbie to this shit. I was like, okay, when I raise my hand in class, because I have to go change my pad, like if everyone's going to know I'm changing my pad if I go into the closet to my backpack to get my pad. So how am I going to like just raise my hand and get told I can go to the bathroom and then just like escape and have a pad ready? So I was like, okay, how do I do this? I'm literally 13. I'm like, what's the best way to do this? Okay. What if I wore a navy skirt that day. I was like, okay, I'm going to tape a pad to my thigh with medical tape because that'll stick to my skin well. I thought of that. Or duct tape. I think it was medical tape. Somehow I had that from like our first aid kit at home from like the back mud room. I don't fucking know. I'm like, I'm going to tape it to my thigh under my skirt. And I'm going to take it out of the wrapper and just leave the part that goes over the sticky part so that it's not crinkly when I walk. And then I'll just go to the bathroom and change it and like no one will know. The part that's funny to me about this is like at the time I hadn't used tampons yet and I taped a tampon next to it. And it was a paper one. It wasn't a fucking nice like Tampax Sport. It was a fucking Tampax from the dispenser at the airport or whatever. Like it's not a nice like I don't know where. I think it was my mom's or I don't know where I got it. Did my sister get her period before me? I just remember that was such like a weird time, like getting my period, like it was so new, you know. But yeah, I taped a tampon next to it. Then when I went to the bathroom that day, I was probably bleeding out. It was it was always so heavy at first. I think I attempted the tampon and it hurt so bad. I was like, fuck this. I'm not doing it. So I put the pad and then I was freaking out all day. Like, oh, I don't have another one taped to my leg if I need to change it again. So I don't know. But I remember the first time I used a tampon, this is so for the girls right now. I swear, like I need some more goddamn female listeners. Cause I think I scare everyone away with my, with my pick me girl energy and my lack of women supporting women energy and my anti-feminist energy and my anti like if you know what I'm saying. So I just like talking about girly shit, but I feel like I need to look at my stats again because every now and then it shifts. But yeah, the first time back to the tampon, the first time I put a tampon in, your vagina's not like straight. So I'm thinking this just goes straight. Like I'm standing straight up and down. This thing's going from my coochie. Like as if I'm pointing straight up to my neck. Most painful shit I've ever experienced. Like I didn't know there's like it's angled and you kind of have to angle it back. So I think I was at volleyball practice and I went to the girls' bathroom. Like I'm determined. I'm going to do I'm going to figure this tampon thing out right now. So I go into the girls' bathroom. I put in the tampon and I like shoot it straight up. And I'm like, why does this hurt so fucking bad? It's supposed to just like sit in there. Cause I got that book. Does anyone know what book I'm talking about? The Body book or something that like all of us girls read back in like 2006. It's like the cartoon book with like drawings of getting your period and pads and tampons and like your boobs and going through it was like the puberty book every girl got. Anyways, what I'm saying, I was like, I know it's not supposed to hurt this bad because I literally like just shoved it in I don't know what I did, but I was like at volleyball practice, so uncomfortable, like in so much pain. I think I was telling my friends like, this fucking hurts, bitch. And then I think someone told me like, you gotta like stick. They're like teaching me how to put a tampon in. Anyways, I finally figured it out, and thank God because I was also on swim team, and like, yeah. You got to figure out the tampons for that. And I think I used to cut the string so it wouldn't hang out of my bikini, or not my bikini, my Speedo. Okay, that's it for the core memories. Boys, you're welcome to come back in the room. Let's play a saved TikTok or two. something about Africa splitting away and splitting into 2 continents. Do I want to play that, or do I want to play something that's more Okay, so I came across this TikTok. She's called Common Sense Cutie. It's an annoying name, but she's like, you know, one of those like, who's that girl all over TikTok that she's like a redhead? Her name's like Coral. Is it Coral? She's like anti-feminism, anti all that shit. What is her Pearl. It's Pearl. The girl is her name's Pearl. The hashtag she uses here on this video I'm about to play is Manosphere Highlights Daily. Pearly Things Podcast. I guess Pearl has a podcast. Red Pill Moment. Or maybe she meant movement. Moment. I don't know. Andrew Tate Funny. Okay. Manosphere Meme. So kind of annoying. I just wish people could talk about this shit without making it like, this is the box it fits in. This is a Manosphere meme, or this is a related to like what Andrew Tate. It's just like everything's put in a box now, and you're either like for this or you're against it. It's like, I'm all about live and let live, do what works for you. But I have my opinions, and I get judgmental. Okay. And I just like, I like to put my 2 cents in about shit I see and observe in this world, especially among people in my, like, that are like me, like other millennial women or what guys are doing, or like, you know, like I talk about like dating shit and relationship shit. It's like, I don't know, I just like talking about it. Even though it's like, do whatever the fuck you want with your life. It's not for me to say. I like to share my opinion, okay? Just like anyone else with a fucking podcast, okay? I'm just going to play it and then tell you about something I thought about after.
I posted a video encouraging women to not prioritize a career first and instead focus on a family throughout their 20s. And it is so sad because I consistently get the same deadgum comments from these same type of women. We're trying to teach women not to settle and not be pressured by our biological clock because they're better than that. Truth is, women by and large have been sold a complete lie and fairy tale version of what life and relationships look like, and I blame Disney Channel for this. If he loves you, he'll take you just the way you are forever. There are no compromises needed. You don't need to change anything. However, he still might have to change some stuff. Women never compromise nowadays, whereas men, they have to compromise. A decently handsome man that makes a decent amount of money, that's maybe an 8, will absolutely settle for a woman that is a 6 if she attains some attributes that he might find appealing in a mom or a wife. For instance, she's nurturing, she's loving, she brings him peace when he comes home from work. He'll take her over the baddies that are a 9 that are hoeing it up at a club because that is what he finds attractive and worthwhile for the rest of his life. But by and large, women just would rather chase a lifestyle than have a good, honorable, loyal man at home. You'll have a good man that says, I make just enough for you to have our baby, raise them at home, keep them out of the government's hands so that they can be raised the way we want them to be raised. And because girls have to get their hair done and their nails done every 3 weeks, they'd rather go career up and boss babe and be independent just so they can get their nails done.
The ending, just so they can get their nails done. What are the comments? And then I want to say something. Like, she's dead accurate. You can't postpone your natural clock, LOL. Disney, like many previous generations, retold stories and forgot the original wisdom. Look at 1,000 Arabian Nights versus Aladdin, for example. The world is raising maniacs, and they still can't understand why. So sad. I personally think do whatever makes you happy. I agree with that. At the end of the day, like, I have a lot of shit to say about women and my fellow millennial women, like, not doing what I'm doing and like being in or prioritizing family and like over career. But yeah, I have like a lot of shit to say, but do whatever the fuck works for you. It's just something to think about. And I feel like because I am so like actually happy, and I'm so like, I've gotten the thing that I think a lot of people are like I'm in a healthy, loving relationship. I want to get married. I want to have a family. I'm going on that path as a 28-year-old. I almost want to talk about my experience because at one point I used to be weary of relationship and marriage, or like kind of like not scared of it, but just like not really sure, or thinking I don't want kids. That was a thing, like, oh, I don't want kids, when I was especially in my early 20s. And I've been on the what I'm saying is I've been on the teeter-totter. So I think now that I'm experiencing what I'm experiencing in this amazing relationship, it's kind of like I can now say that this is fucking great and this is better than like another path I could have chosen, which is single, dating, working on my career, my professional life, and like really growing in that way, and not really seriously thinking about family, and not really seriously thinking about marriage and like the benefits of all of that. And like, you know, because that was me a little, not too long ago. And I just think what I have now, I'm like, this is what it's all like. When I'm 60, I want, I don't want to be alone. Obviously I want to have little kids around. I want to have grandkids. Like I want to be filled with like love in all corners, you know, like having a family. Like I just feel like that's what life, it's not the end all be all. Okay. There's so much to life. There's so many amazing things about life, travel, like self discovery and work on yourself and healing and all the shit you can do with going within. There's, you know, relationships, friendships, like fun ass experiences, like in the fucking club, sure, like going out drinking and partying all night, like doing drugs at a festival, going to Coachella. Like life is so full of shit. But I think at the end of the day, family is like it, bitch. Like it is so, I don't think people really think about that, especially like when you're 45 and you're childless and like not married. You're 62, like same shit. Like that happens fast if you're not really like putting, like really prioritizing that. So anyways, what were people saying in the comments I was reading? Do whatever makes you happy. If family makes you happy, get married. If single makes you happy, stay single. Sure. I just can't imagine someone actually being happy. To me, I just look when I look ahead, like when I'm old, and that's what makes me go, okay, finding a life partner, starting a family with them, getting married, and doing that path. And I know that's, you gotta find the right person to do it with, which is not easy. And I fucking empathize. I know how hard that is. Like I feel lucky, and I always say that on the show, but yeah, I just think that path is, I guess, ideal and probably best for the soul and psyche. And yeah. Someone commented her perspective. I focused on my family in my 20s. It never happened. So now I'm 30 and starting a career. A husband isn't guaranteed to do the career. Someone said there's always been a golden balance. Don't indulge yourself in relationships or work fully. It's always a slippery slope no matter what you do. Bruh, not everyone wants a man badly. I mean, I guess that's true. I never think about that. Like maybe some people like don't want a boyfriend or a husband. They're just like frolicking alone and they're cool with that. And they like just, is that serial dating? Like they just like fucking around and meeting new people and like going in the wind. Maybe that's, some people are like that. It's just what they're into. It's just, there's so many factors. And I just saw another comment about someone who had a kid at 21, got married at 22, got divorced at 28, and how it's just like a mess. And it's a risk. Everything's a risk. It's just it's weighing out the risk versus the reward, I guess, is the whole thing. And I'm just like, I just look at society now. And let me get back to what you said about like bossing up just so you can pay to get your nails done. What's crazy is that, and this isn't all, like when I talk, I'm not lumping all women together, like 20s, 30s women together. I'm thinking of all of the women in this world that got suckered into the Instagram shit and the social media shit. Like myself, like, sure, I'm one of them. Kind of like the Southern California, LA baddie types, the, you know, hair, the nails, the tan, the, you know, all that shit. Like, it's just crazy how literally just because of like social media and like getting your picture taken and posting it, and no, what it is, it's like we're all in this part of our life where we're young, we're dating, sure, a lot of us are just dating and having fun, whatever. Like, not everyone wants a man, like that girl said. I know that, like, sure, fine. We're all in this age group where we're trying to put our best face forward, our best body forward, our best picture forward, like to appeal to the opposite sex, because we're in our dating years and one day we want to get married and you know, some of us, of course, not all of us. And so it's this crazy thing where like, because of social media, the pressure of like posting yourself because you want to attract a partner, because that's how they're going to see you because of dating apps. A lot of the time, I mean, that's how I met Corey. I met him on Hinge. Like, looking good is so important. So starting from the toes all the way to the head, it's like you got your manicure, pedicure, hair extensions, lash extensions, brow lamination, brow tint, lip filler, Botox. And of course, all of this is optional. You don't have to do any of this. It's just like people have, especially around here in Southern California, there's so much upkeep just for a goddamn nice Instagram post, or like when you go on vacation with your girlfriends, you want to like look hot, so you have to have everything's got to be on point. And there's so much, like, you know, just to look good in a fucking photo. So the outfits you got to buy, it's just expensive. So back to her point, it's like that's forcing women to boss up, prioritize their career. I think it's not everyone though, because like, you know, I think a lot of women too, like they get the guy with all the money that pays for all of it. So like, I don't know. I just go back to like all of that shit. You're week after week, month after month, you're doing all this upkeep, you're doing all these things, and yet you're single. And I don't know what I'm saying. Like, it's just, it's like, for what? You know what I mean? It's like, what's this all fucking for? This shit is like, oh, to make me feel good? To make me feel good? Sure, yeah, I get that. Like, look good, feel good. You know, take a hot photo, post it, look good, feel good. Like, I'm all about that life. Like, I do it too. But after a while, it's like, when does this end? You know, what's the end goal? Like, do people have goals? I don't think people have like actual like goals for like family, or I don't know what I'm saying. People are just like lifestyle, right? Coachella, like going to the club, like having a good time, like da, 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 da. And she makes a good point, like, you know, you might be a guy, and the thing is you have to remember, I'm talking to women right now. You have to remember, not all guys want to get married, okay? And I know there's a lot of them out there that don't. I know a few. And I wouldn't want them to get married. But, you know, at some point, men want to settle down and start a family. And it's like, yeah, you might be a fucking, you know, goddess. Like the girl said in the TikTok, and, you know, 9 or 10 or whatever, fucking 15. And to you, you're like, I'm hot, I'm fucking, you know, and yet your lifestyle is like, you're in the club, you're hooking up with a bunch of guys, you're fucking around, you're, you know, being a hoe, and you're confused because you're like, I'm a catch. Look at me, literally look at me, stare at me, look at me. I'm so hot. I'm a catch. I don't get it, you know, like, and you're confused why guys don't want you, like don't want to date you, don't take you seriously. It's like, it's just so common sense to me. So like, duh. It's like, because of the way you're living your lifestyle. I mean, most of the guys I talk to have a big fucking problem with like girls just, yeah, being a hoe, basically. I mean, it's so fucked up to say, but you know, like they're looking for a wife, a mother, someone they could settle down with. And if you're tearing it up in the club every fucking weekend and you're, or whatever, like, again, I'm just like thinking of a stupid stereotype that I see through like social media here in California, but like, what frustrates me, because it's like, why do I care? What's my why? Why am I sharing this? Why am I even flapping my gums about this? What frustrates me is that I'm seeing all of this like, fuck men, you know, anti-men shit. Men are trash. Men are toxic, masculine, toxic male shit. Like, it's like all over social media now. It's like a fucking wave everyone's riding. Not everyone. I keep saying all these. What do you call that? Generalization. And I'm like, what frustrates me is I'm like, you're doing it to yourself. The women are doing it to themselves. It's so right there. It's like common sense. Like, duh. Like, just, you know what I mean? Like, adjust your fucking behavior, switch up the lifestyle, prioritize things that are wholesome, actually like meaningful in this life. And I'm pretty positive that's going to attract a good man who takes you seriously, who wants to date you, who's, you know what I mean? Because what you're attracting as a hoe are hoe ass men who are just looking for a good time too. I don't know. I just feel like people are just doing it over and over and over again. And they're like in their 30s and they're like, what the fuck, you know? They give up and they're like, fuck men. It's like, be accountable for your actions, for what you post, for what your lifestyle is, who your friends are. Like, like I said, it's like people are shooting themselves in the foot. You're so confused. Like, I'm a 10. I'm so hot, you know, and it's just like all about how you look. It's just all about look at me. Look. I've said that like 10 times. It's about what's inside, bitches. It's about how you carry yourself. It's about having class. It's about me saying bitches and talking shit, being so judgmental and mean, and like saying, do whatever you want, live your best life. And then also saying, don't do that. Just so classic of me. Classiness is fucking dead. It drives me insane. I'm like, it's hard because I'm like, am I a hypocrite? Every time I say stuff, I'm like, look at my last Instagram post. I am literally in a thong with my ass out. So how does that work? You know what I mean? But I'm also not like, my lifestyle though, if you look at how I live my life and what I do, like I'm exhaust me. And it's like, go, I don't know. This isn't my, it becomes my podcast sometimes. Like now this is taking over the entire ending of my show. And I'm like, yeah, like, why do I care? Or why do I waste? It's like, why am I wasting my time? I don't know. I guess I could think of the word as frustrated. I'm like, I feel like I figured it out. I have an amazing boyfriend who treats me like a queen. This is the thing. When women describe I see everything through social media, just like you. Okay. Like that's where I'm getting this shit from. When I see women describe like a good man, like they're Prince Charming, you know, I'm like, okay, I have that. And I guess what I'm, again, trying to do here is share, like, how did I get here? How did I carry myself? How did I act? What did I do? And in hopes to, like, maybe help someone out there who's frustrated, like, they're like, it's not working out for them. Am I a relationship coach right now? Fuck. There's just like basic things that people like don't do. Like, I kind of think because I didn't run with a pack of girlfriends in my 20s, red flag, she doesn't have a pack of girlfriends. She's I call out the red flags for myself before. I mean, just, it's a thing. Like, I'm making fun of myself because so no one else can, or what's that whole thing? Like, it's a comedian thing to do. Like, you say the thing ahead of, so you've already said it about yourself. So like no one can say that about you. Like, I get it. Like, I get how it is. I get how I look. I get how I'm self-aware of, like, you know, how I come across and everything. And I fucking own it. Okay, that's my other advice. Who gives a fuck? You know what I mean? Like, these are my harsh, judgmental opinions about millennial women and dating and relationship stuff. Okay. People are probably going to think I'm crazy or psycho or whatever you think, or like mean, or, you know, but I don't care. I don't give a fuck. It's just like, I'm just speaking from experience, talking about my observations. It's not that like serious, you know what I mean? It's just, but I think because I wasn't influenced by having a lot of like girlfriends around me throughout my 20s, like I wasn't always like going out with them and like doing things with them, having their input. Cause I think that's what happens, women within friend groups. And when I've been in that situation, like, it's so, their advice to each other, it's just so fucked up. Like, dating advice with you're all single and you're giving each other dating advice. Like, I don't know what I'm saying. I just feel like it's like groupthink. You all get the same kind of like ideas going. And because I didn't have that, because I formed all my own ideas about the lifestyle I want to live and the man I want and all that stuff, because I did that completely independently, I just fucking feel like it served me well. Now what I envy in those groups and those friends is the female, like the camaraderie, the fun trips, the fun times, because female friendships are so fucking important. I've had them in the past, and it's like all my friends now are just like more like acquaintance. They're like, I see them here and there, but we're not like buddies, you know, which it's a process. But yeah, it's like I have this amazing relationship and I'm 28 and I have this great thing going and I want marriage and kids and you know, but I didn't have the fucking friend group and the girlfriends and the fun trips and that kind of shit and the camaraderie and the, like, you know, so, but I gotta say, and this will fucking sum it up, and I need to go because the dogs need to go out. Like I was saying earlier, having what I have now and being in this beautiful relationship and spending the time in my 20s to heal my shit and work on myself and do that deep work, and not, instead of constantly distracting myself with partying and drugs and whatever, like other things where I'm distracted, I just feel really blessed. I feel really like this feels so fucking good in comparison. I feel like this is for me, that's the thing. I gotta, I keep ebbing and flowing, going back, coming, considering all possibilities. That's what works for me. And that's the summary here. That's what I wanted. That's what I have. That's what I got. And that's what makes me happy, makes my soul fulfilled. And that's what works for me. Now, back to this woman's TikTok and what she was saying about, how women don't prioritize family and they prioritize careers. Like, that might work for people. I acknowledge that. I'm not shitting on that. I just think that, again, there's like, I don't know, some obvious things people could tweak about how they live their lives, and I don't know. It's not like I found Jesus. I just feel like this is a long goddamn podcast. I didn't find Jesus. I found myself and I figured out who I am. So that's great. Cool. Please hit that subscribe button wherever you're listening right now. I'm on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, Stitcher, Google Podcast, Breaker, wherever you listen to podcasts. What a doozy of an episode. Like, I literally... Yeah. Am I like... Do I have anything else to say about that topic? I don't know. It's like I'm second guessing at the end here. Like, do I want to delete that segment? Do I want to keep it in? Yeah, whatever. Thank you for listening. Thanks for hanging out. I need to go take the dogs out. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Send me a DM if you have something to say about any of the topics I discussed. Send me a DM. Let's chat. I am here 24/7 on my phone, just like you, always checking it, always immediately on it as soon as I wake up. Yeah, send me a DM. Subscribe, Diary Asks. I'm going brain dead. Subscribe to the podcast. Review the podcast 1 through 5 stars. 5 stars, please. 5 stars, please. I'm dying right now. I'm so hot. Jesus. Subscribe, review the show, and if you want to support the show, head over to patreon.com/TJMS. Patreon.com/TJMS. $5 a month to support the show. Love you. Hope you had a great week. I hope you're happy. I hope you're fulfilled. I hope you're... What else? Getting some good... Hope you're getting it. I don't know what else. Happy, fulfilled, healthy. Hope your relationships are good. Hope your mind's good. And yeah, happy spring. Love you. I'll talk to you next week. Bye. I got a lot of shit to say, so I'ma do this every day. I'll be writing things until I'm fucking buried in my grave. 6 feet deep under, but my body won't decay. Cause my messages are timeless, so they'll put them on display. Oh yeah, I rap with a certainty. I have a sense of urgency. A message for eternity, for everyone internally. I had some people burning me, but now they fucking learn to see I